back again, just doing a bit of odd history looking, because I saw that Russia's was called an empire just like the UK, and then it became a Commonwealth. And to be really honest, we've said all this stuff about Russia, look, it's got all these countries and rah-de-rah, but we're just the same. It's just the same for us. We've got all these countries. UK, I mean, not me personally, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, let's move on. Of course, I just start recording and a message has to come in. Anyway, did everybody know that Victoria was only 17 when she married Prince Frederick of Prussia? Those are the way things were, but they're not like that now. That was her daughter. I was looking it up, but that was her daughter. Her daughter had breast cancer when she died. I didn't, you know. It's all sort of, I suppose, trivial news now, isn't it? But in that sense, don't mean that rudely to her, but anyway, so I was just looking up stuff. Anyway, on to the next bit. It's coming. Yes, I'm going to let you read these. You can stop the video anytime and read them. And it seemed that Queen Victoria and her great-granddaughter, which was the Tsar of Russia's wife, they carried the gene which gave some of their children, obviously the Tsar was his son, but Queen Victoria gave it to a few of hers. It came via Victoria to her great, you know, in that gene pool to her great-granddaughter. Anyway, it's through the mothers. It goes through the mother. You can stop these little bits and read them longer if you want. I can't go through every single one of them, but I go through some of them. I mean, I know that these people won't want to fall over and hurt themselves, but they can have normal lives. Anyway, some of them, you know, Victoria's children, like one of them had a horrible death. Anyway, that's just a little bit of information, because the Tsar of Russia's son and some of Victoria's children, grandchildren were haemophiliacs. Depends which strain of it you've got. So anyway, you can say you can stop and read those. Yeah, so these are the children of Queen Victoria who had this gene. I mean, it's maybe go and research it a little bit. I mean, it's not very nice. But I mean, in any of the pictures, you don't see any of them in pictures with any problems, do you? So it's hard to say whether it's true or not. I know what they're saying here. They've written it down and it's in history, but it's hard to say whether they do or don't, because we know it's his story. His story. Anyway, you can stop and read those if you want. I think how it kind of might happen as well is that, you know, I was watching a video, this guy was saying, well, you know, when they all marry each other in their dynasty, they don't marry outside, they don't just pick anybody, it has to be within the circle, which means really that they're kind of, I don't mean that it means you're going to get haemophilia, but they kind of interbreed a bit, which is obvious by that map of on my other video where Queen Elizabeth I is related to all of them, right back to Edward. She's related to all these people, it's this one person. And the backwards and forwards, but anyway, there's a bit more information. Nicholas. This is why Harbin is a Russian town caught in China, and they've still got a lot of the buildings left because China was run by Russia. Harbin. I've made 2 videos now, part 1 and part 2, so you can go and look that up. So we have it in there that China was run by Russia and it had Romania. Wow. And then there's a bit more information there. You can stop and read it. I know you can't press any of the buttons, but you want to, or want to see what that says. But there are so many, and every time we press one, more and more and more come up. And sometimes it changes the subject. There goes a bit more always, but sometimes you get other bits of information you study on there. Information. The Roman Empire. Sorry, the Russian Empire. But it used to be called the Duchy of Moscow. And it was Imperial. Because I videoed this before, so yeah, I'm thinking about where I'm going, I think. There goes a bit more. That's where they got their money, is by making eggs, Fabergé eggs, and they're amazing. A little bit more information. Aha, but the British had the biggest empire, so we couldn't have been ruled by them, because Russia had all those countries for a bit, and a little bit more Russia. And there it says, and it owned Alaska. Wow. It stretched over 3 continents, Europe, Asia and America, where it possessed Alaska. So that's why you'll have Russian buildings there, or pillared buildings, or whichever style they came in. But we all had the same, basically. We all had the same kind of building. What else happened? Same. Obviously New Zealand, Canada, all got the same building, so something else happened. So this isn't true. What they don't say you want. It's hard, well, we don't even know how much of this to take on board, do we? Because, you know, to be correct, I've just shown you. So on the 30th of 1867, the United States reached an agreement to purchase Alaskans for $7.2 million. Whoa, that was in the 1800s? I don't think that's true, by the way. And if Alaska you can see more land, or from Russia you can see more land, you're seeing different land. You're seeing land to somewhere else. Which they haven't told us about. And look at that. In the 1700s, he was called the Tsardom. I think that's a difference about with that. She is, because she's now the Tsar. Well, if the Tsar's children had been alive, she'd been related. But she is, because of the families marrying and that. I think that's a different Elizabeth, that one though. Ivan the Terrible was the worst ruler of Russia. I think they did a few today. It's always interesting to know, isn't it, how you sort of piece it together. The other day I saw Commonwealth, so I'm going to put Commonwealth in. So it was called a Commonwealth as well. And the thing is that we've got Commonwealth countries. So there you go. Am I going to go? I wish the CIS still exists, but basically I think these there you go, there's the information. Is a Commonwealth. What do they do after an empire? They call it a Commonwealth, because that's what the Queen's done. She's got a Commonwealth after Tartaria broke down. I'm so happy when I go to Facebook, either people are idiots, rude, start like and they're moaning, and you think, oh, what are they doing here? Or you do get people talking. But how did we have all the same buildings and the such? I know that the church has changed. In the 1500s, they broke away from the Catholic Church. So the churches in England were with the Church of England, and the churches in France were with the Catholic Church, but they were the same churches. But they're the same churches. And that broke up in the 1500s, so those churches had to be there. How the hell did they build these things that long ago? And then I went, because obviously I know that the British has a Commonwealth. So, you know, we've said how, oh, it's so bad, look what Russia's done, keeping all those countries in there. Anyway, the way you look at it, isn't it, really? None of the history adds up, does it? And it's so complicated, and there's so many people. But how could we have the same buildings as America, Australia, you know, across? How can we have the same churches? Church that looks Australia as it does in, I think it's China. They've got churches the same. And then we already showed you Harbin, and that was because Russia was in charge. Took over China. And obviously gave it back. Had to have done. I've read that bit before. So what does everybody make of that then? So Russia and England have had empires and commonwealths. And we turn our noses up and go, oh, those poor people caught in their communism. But we've got the same. And how do we all have the same buildings? Same, especially Europe and England, same churches, and some of those churches might be similar in America as well. So how come we had all the same buildings? No of it adds up, does it? Anyway, maybe you could put your ideas down in the comments below, because it is a bit crazy, isn't it? With everything I'm looking up, everything is crazy. Anyway, thanks for watching the video.